Hey, Cailen Ascher here from Calm Biz, and I wanted to share with you 6 secrets of highly productive people. Our lives are so busy now, and we have so many things on our to-do list that getting things done can seem overwhelming. And then we'll see these other people that have the same 24 hours a day who seem like they just fit in so much more than the rest of us. So I wanted to share with you some techniques that I personally use that have made me even more productive, and those of other people that I highly respect and admire that I know they use that keep them moving forward and on track and getting everything done without feeling overwhelmed. So the first tip number 1, is to have a morning routine. Now, my morning routine consists of a little bit of meditation, some exercise, always some yoga in with that exercise, having a nice breakfast, a seated breakfast, not on the run, and that just sets me up with a foundation for the day. I start every day like that, and honestly, it took a little time to get in the rhythm of it, but once you have that morning routine, there's really no other way to start your day. So if you don't currently have a morning routine, if you're waking up at all different times, or you don't have a system for getting yourself ready for the day, I encourage that you think about carving out 10, 15 minutes for yourself in the morning to reground yourself and start from that place rather than just jumping headfirst into your day. Number 2, the second thing that highly productive people have is long-term vision. So this means that they really value taking time to think about their long-term goals, to map out their next year or maybe even their next 3 or 5 years. Now, this doesn't have to be something concrete that you have to stick to, but having those overarching goals and that vision of where you want to get to will give you some clarity on a month-to-month and week-by-week basis. Number 3, breaking that down even further, really productive people schedule out their weeks. Me personally, I sit down every Friday afternoon. I look at my long-term goals, my yearly goals, and I look at my monthly goals, and then break those down into what I need to work on during the next week. I look at every day, chunk it out, get really specific about what I'm handling and how many hours I'm setting aside to handle that. And that just keeps me really focused and clear, because without that, I feel like if I just set aside time that said work on business stuff, I'm going to sit down and spend a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, just figuring out what I need to work on. So scheduling out your weeks will make you so much more productive when you actually sit down to do something. Number 4, productive people make time for themselves. I touched on this in the whole idea of a morning routine. You realize that you need to have a balance. You need to have your downtime so that you can be really on in those times that you need to get stuff accomplished. So making time for yourself is not a luxury that someday you'll get to. It's really important, and I think us as a community of yogis here really knows how much better you are and you feel when you make time for your yoga and your meditation than in those periods of time when you let that fall by the wayside. Number 5, productive people hold themselves accountable. So once they schedule out their week, if something comes up that is a non-priority item, they say no to it. That's a hard thing to do, but I know that what has made me so much more productive is that I take my own planning and my own business goals really seriously. So when I write something on my calendar that I'm going to spend 3 hours working on this project, and then something pops up like a coffee date with a friend or something like that that sounds really fun, and it's like, oh, I could just go and do that, I still hold myself accountable. I prioritize the things I put on my calendar for my business, and then maybe I'll look 2, 3, 4 weeks out to set aside time for that coffee date when it makes sense in my schedule. I don't bend my schedule to meet other people's needs. And number 6, this is the last one, they try different systems to see what works. Productive people don't always know what is going to make them super productive. It's about testing things out. I learned a method from Rachel Cook that worked really well for me, and it was breaking down my hours into 45-minute chunks and 15-minute chunks. So I'd be on for 45 minutes, like totally go work, 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 pump out those blog posts, whatever I needed to get done. I'd be really focused for 45 minutes, and then for 15 minutes, I'd give myself a breather. I'd enjoy a cup of tea. I'd fold some laundry. I would do something other than stare at my computer screen. And she offered me this system because I was feeling really burnt out, just sitting for hours on end at my computer, and I could feel my energy being drained. So this was a really great thing for me, that I would be on for 45 minutes and then take 15 minutes to go outside with my dog Olive, or maybe do a couple yoga poses, something that would rejuvenate me and refresh me, to then move back into that 45 minutes of focused time. So that's just one system that has worked for me. It's important to play with and see what works for you, and also get a sense of what your most productive hours are during the day. So maybe you're a morning person, maybe you're a midday person, maybe you're a nighttime person. You need to figure out when your productive hours are so you can capitalize on those and then work your schedule around it, because it's really key to figure out your own system and when your creativity is peaking and when your energy is peaking, so that you can deliver the best to your students, to your family, to your friends, and everybody else who is in your life. So I hope these 6 tips of highly productive people have given you some food for thought to maybe how you can incorporate more of them into your schedule. Or if you have any tips about what keeps you productive and on track, I would love to hear them. You know, post them in the comments below, tweet them to me, write them on Facebook. I always love learning from you guys. So I hope this video was helpful, and as always, for more business and marketing advice for yoga teachers, head on over to calmbiz.com, and I'll see you there.